Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today and welcome to my podcast studio. Before we start on today's episode, I just wanted to take a quick moment to say I am truly grateful for you being here. It means the world to me and my guest for us to be able to share our conversation with you. If you do like what we're talking about, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And if we do talk about something that you either agree or disagree with, please put it in the comments. We would love to hear your feedback. Also, please don't forget, I do a lot more than just podcasts. So every Tuesday, I'll put out a drum playthrough. I'll also documenting my journey on writing my solo album, which will feature a lot of guests that have been on the podcast. I'm also putting up a lot of tips and tricks of stuff that we do talk about in some of the podcasts, like insights that I get from some of the guests that share their journey in the music industry. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And again, please don't forget to subscribe. Let's get into it.
And that's it. We're actually live now. Yeah.
Proper live.
Yeah, we had the little. We're actually trying to run something on Instagram today as well, just for a little tester here as well. So if people over on Instagram are watching this, head over to YouTube and watch it in the proper format with the proper audio instead of this sort of shitty iPhone audio kind of thing, man. Thanks so much for coming in, guys.
No, thanks for having us.
It was we had that sort of that awkward transition where we have to not talk too much about about everything. How have you been? What have you been up to? I said, let's keep it. Let's keep it
for the interview.
But obviously, you actually told me a really interesting story about the Danish soccer team, which I'm super embarrassed, being Danish. I had absolutely no idea, man. But absolutely nuts, man.
Crazy times. Yeah,
crazy times.
One of the craziest things I've seen, obviously, growing up in England with football. I don't recall anything like that happening before, Yeah, it was madness, yeah.
That's absolutely crazy, man. Yeah, and obviously, for people that doesn't know, like a guy literally died and came back to life.
Star player kind of drops dead on the pitch and was revived by his teammates, yeah. Just insane.
That is, have that ever happened before?
I can recall a couple of deaths in the middle of games and stuff, but not in an international game with the world's, millions and millions of people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was madness. Yeah,
absolutely crazy, man.
Amazing response from the players and the officials, and they saved his life. So amazing. It was incredible to watch.
And the fact, as you said as well, like the fact that actually made everybody sort of come together more, and really, the whole soccer
massive outpouring of love for him, and from every nation involved has been sort of really got behind the Danish guys, and it was really beautiful to see. Yeah.
And how they smashed Russia in the last game, apparently. And I didn't know any of this.
Me neither.
The knockout stage is just the last sort of last gasp heroics.
Yep.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Yeah.
That is so cool, man. Yeah. I mean, everybody loves those underdog stories.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And again, it's also as we discussed as well, it's one of those things that sort of really just bring, really unite people.
Yeah.
Which again is, I suppose, is great, especially sort of during these crazy pandemic times as well.
It's nice to see people coming together.
Yeah. How's everything going with that overseas? Because I was you're from the UK originally.
Yeah, I mean they're having a torrid time in the UK. Yeah, it's been really hard. All my family are still there, so they've pretty much endured virtually complete lockdown since March last year.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, it's been horrendous. Yeah.
And I spoke to my sister today about, I'm really missing going back to Denmark and seeing my family and stuff. But that's nothing compared to what you're saying, man.
Yeah, it's been brutal for them, So they've had there's been little chinks of light where the government have said we're going to start relaxing things, and then as soon as they do, they got a big spike and things get locked down again, and so they've got they've got huge restrictions on still. I mean, people can go out. Now it's a lot better.
The pubs are open now, aren't they?
Pubs are open and stuff now, which is.
Bet people are happy about that.
So the English are obviously very happy about that. For a long time, it was speaking to my family back home, it was just a torrid time for them. I mean, it's pretty bad in the States too.
It's been quite brutal. I think most of my family is fully vaccinated now, and they've just lifted the mask mandate, so everybody's kind of getting back to some semblance of a normal life, but.
But so
baby steps.
But sort of like from what I've seen in the States, like each state has sort of their own set of rules and regulations and stuff. But
yeah, kind of similar here too, though. Like, I mean,
yeah, just on a much like 10, 11, 12x scale. Like there's so many more people over there, man. Like the density, the density is ridiculous, man.
And I think that's probably why England, the UK's been so heavily affected because it's such a small island, really, with 70 million people, and so. Yeah, it spread through there like wildfire.
Wow! And I think that's probably also what a lot of people forget here. The fact is like here we're so spread out, hey,
that's
like
right.
so spread out.
Yeah.
So when you are hearing about cases like in New York and London and stuff, where everybody's like there's almost the same amount of people in some of these cities that there is in all of Australia, and like Australia is the size of the States, the size of Europe. It's
insane.
It's nuts.
Insane. But we really don't. I don't think we truly appreciate how lucky we've been in Australia. So
no, and it's again like hearing those stories, especially if you're saying that like your family's been locked up pretty much a year or more than a year.
Yeah,
like
most of the year they spent in lockdown.
Like that's impossible to imagine, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think I would cope with that, man.
No. I have a feeling I may have breached some of them rules if I was still in England. I don't think I could have done that, man.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not get too like it's so. At the same time, it's such an interesting topic, but it's so depressing, man.
It is.
And
it's been dragging on so long. I think everyone's just really kind of over it now.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, I hope something again. Same as a soccer story. Hopefully, something good will come out of it. You know what I mean? At the other end, like
brighter days.
It probably has to get a little bit grimmer before it gets better. But
yeah, onwards and upwards, now, hopefully.
Yeah. But it's all. But like another thing, and then we'll move on. It's also like super annoying that people can't come here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like because so many of my family would have come here in a heartbeat if they could. And happily quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So especially like having kids and like my parents' grandchildren. Like I've got a son that no one has met.
Oh, wow.
He's turning 2 in 2 months. So it's just it's nuts.
Yeah. Our friends are the same.
I'm sure they'll be.
A year ago, and neither set of parents has met their granddaughter yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's again a good thing why we have all these technology. We can sort of live stream and connect so easily. Like
how bad it would be if we didn't have this sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You have to take photos and put them in an envelope and sort of send them across. You get them like 3 weeks later and or a year later. So, yeah, man. Look, it's so cool for you guys to come down. You obviously have a little special connection to this place because you were one of the first bands to actually come in and record here. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. I think we were this first booked in. We were the first band to book in to record here, I think, but we were second to actually get in because of we were fairly busy and trying to pull everybody together. It's like herding cats with these boys now. So
nice, man.
But so it was brilliant to come here and see the new setup that you guys have pulled together.
Yeah, well, it's mainly Jay's. Like I just helped him sort of put everything
just
together.
His decor, hey?
yeah, pretty much. And I just helped him. I've brought my tools down. I'm not much of a handyman, but just put some screws in over there, and like have to lift it up here and hold this, and
look like you're helping.
Yeah.
4 months later, here it is.
It's a wicked spot.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, we really enjoyed recording here. The sound, I think the sound was so much sort of noticeably better down here than when we've recorded with him previously, and we thought we got a great result previously. So yeah, the drum sound particularly really stood out for me.
The sound is so much better than the old place that I have to re-record all of my drum tracks that were done in the old place.
Right. So what are you guys planning on doing with the recordings? Like, have you planning on releasing them as singles, or have you got to do like an EP or?
Yeah, so the plan. I mean, obviously, COVID scuppered everybody's plans last year. So.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, so
you have to sort of rearrange everything.
That's right. We picked what we thought was probably, as everybody does, sort of the most accessible track out of our out of the ones that we'd had kind of fully realised to record and release as the debut single. We booked.
Whoa! Wait, I'm just gonna.
We got some overlap going.
Yeah,
on.
I just quickly gonna mute that here. Here we go. Yeah. Bang. Yep.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. So and we booked a heap of shows last year to support obviously the release of the debut single, which was 27th of March last year, and we all know what happened in March last year. So
yes,
every show got canned, and
we did end up playing that the first show for the single.
We got one gig into.
And I think there was about 12 to 14 people in the audience. Everybody was scared and staying home at that point in time, and then straight after lockdown.
Yeah. Kind of killed that for us, but So anyway, the plan is, we're a year down the line now, so we've pretty much fully realised all the songs that we want to include on the album. So it will be an album.
Yeah.
So the plan
fantastic,
is,
man.
Yeah, the plan is to try and get that out September or October this year.
Yep.
I don't want to jinx it too much.
No, of course, subject to pandemics and bits and pieces. Yeah,
New World Order and all those sorts of things. So.
That's it, man. The world ending, comets and whatever, volcano outbreaks, and
all being well, we'll get that. We've got two more tracks to record, haven't we? So, and some, just a few sort of overlays and bits and pieces to do. So, but yeah, I'm still pretty confident we can get it out. September,
exciting.
Cool.
I mean, it's a conversation again I love to have with bands, like whether should you do singles, should you do EPs or albums. Like I've always thought preached like you should have an album, especially if that's the first thing you're doing, because that's again just my own personal opinion. Because the fact is, if you do have a couple of tracks that you're gonna put out, then if you get someone who's hooked on it, like myself, every time I hear a new band, I go like, shit, this is good, and you go in, that's the only song, or they've only got 2 or 3 songs. You're going, damn. Yeah. And then I tend to lose interest then. Yeah. Whereas if I got a whole album, and if it is something I really like, I'll binge it, man.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I always, I suppose I'm sort of more traditional thinking in that sense. Is it? I sort of feel like an album's kind of a statement of where you are at that sort of moment in time. It's not. I think it's more than just a collection. Well, it is certainly for me, and I think for the guys too. It's more than just 10 individual songs, for instance. It's kind of a statement about where we are right now.
A specific time period.
Yeah, and they're all fairly kind of thematically similar and things like that. So there's definitely sort of a tone that runs through all of our stuff at the moment. So, the plan was certainly to follow the single up with either like a EP or a full album, and then obviously things that unraveled last year, and then as the year progressed and things got a little easier, we thought, well, we'll bang another single out and then we'll do the album, and then of course it all went to shit again. So,
yeah.
So we got 2 singles out last year. We're going to get everything else recorded and finalized in the next couple of months, and then we'll start looking at a release plan. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome, man.
Super excited, man.
So are you guys planning on doing most of it yourself, or have you got anything lined up sort of in regards to like the marketing and the promotion side of it?
We'll probably do most of it ourselves. I'll do a bit of investigation. I mean, I'm always open to advice and stuff, because obviously we're new to this is my first band, so.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Nice.
My first band, so my first foray into music. Everyone else has played in bands before, but I don't think you guys. Has anyone else released things before? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So it'll be fresh for all of us. So it's kind of finding your way through the landmines, because it's a weird world to navigate, I think.
Oh, it is, but at the same time, and this is something I've spoken to a lot of other people about. Like you have so many opportunities these days because of the internet. Like literally everybody can turn like we can turn a laptop and a mobile phone, a couple of webcams. You got a broadcasting studio, and
that's it.
And again, like you have so many platforms that you can utilize in your favor, and all you have to do is like just. Technically, we obviously can do a lot more than that, but really all you could do is just watch a couple of YouTube tutorials and get familiar with. Whatever format or whatever concept that works for you. And again, if there's some bits and pieces you aren't able to do yourself because you lack the skills, whether that's, printing banners or making anything graphics or something like that, then either you can, again, learn through YouTube, or you can pay someone through like Fiverr or Upwork or something like that. Yeah. And they can literally do it for you for pennies or very, very small budget. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I found an amazing artist in Bosnia who did our the artwork for both of our singles, and that was through Fiverr.
Yeah.
I love this guy's stuff, so
And that's again, and it becomes almost a way where you can have like a subcontractor almost doing your work for you externally, and it saves you time as long as you can write a brief up where they understand sort of what you're after. But if you find a good one, man, they're so valuable.
We should probably get that dude to start working on our album.
I reckon for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's kind of one of those things where I think we just need to get ourselves together, sit down, actually kind of make a list of things that have to be done, and really kind of map it out, everything that needs to be done, and then decide what we can do ourselves and what we need to kind of get some help on. And so we'll take it seriously.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm really keen to get this album out. I reckon
same.
Personally, I think it's pretty cool. So.
That's so cool that it's actually like your first release, collectively as well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even start. I didn't start singing until I was like 39. So.
Wow.
Yeah, my first crack at it.
Well, it's never too late. And that's again a perfect example of that. Like you see. I think what is it like? What's his name? You know, the black actor Morgan Freeman. Yeah, like he didn't have a breakthrough movie until I think he was in his 50s as well.
55 is his first major role.
Yeah, so again, it's never too late. As long as you keep grinding, as long as you
things come to you when they're supposed to, huh?
or when you're ready. Like when you're ready to put in the required work to get there. But look, man, that's actually super cool, man. I had no idea. I don't think I've ever spoken to anyone that sort of decided, at 39, I'm just gonna try and give music a crack. Hey,
well, we're at a friend's house. So he invited us over for some like pre-Christmas drinks, and Kiwi lad, so he's always singing and always playing guitar and stuff.
They're musically advanced.
Born with a ukulele in his hand.
So
Ridiculous, yeah. But we'd had a few beers and stuff, and he gets the guitar out and starts strumming away, and we just started having a bit of a sing song, and he was just like, "Oh man, I didn't know you could sing." I was like, "Oh yeah, like I've always liked singing. I've always kind of wanted to do it, but never really, I don't know why I never thought to do it before." But so he just pushed me into it. He just said, "Mate, why? What are you waiting for?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know, man. I've just never really given it any serious consideration, He said, "Well, don't wait anymore. If there's something you've always wanted to do, what are you waiting for?" I said, "I actually don't know." And he said, "Well, do it then, man." And I said, "Okay."
Fantastic.
So the next day, I started looking on, sort of putting adverts on Facebook and Gumtree and things like that. And
that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Again, underdog story, man. Yeah.
Eventually found this jerk, and yeah. So we went through a few different personnel because for me, it's always been about the right fit as well as sort of similar musical tastes. It's about you guys kind of you got to. I think you need to gel as a team as well, rather than and not just about the music. So we had some really cool people come in and out, but I just think people sort of select to move on, and sometimes they're not the right fit, so you move the people on and search for other people and what have you, and eventually we landed on this lineup and been together for just over 3 years. Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's such a cool story.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued now. What song were you singing when you were jamming with your mate? Like what is the first song?
It would have been knowing Rue, mate. I mean, you would have been playing something.
Been like what, Pink Floyd or something?
It would have been something, probably Pink Floyd or.
Oh, that's good. As long as he wasn't playing any like Destiny's Child
no. Given that it was like
all the single ladies.
Given there was a barbecue and a fire going on, I suspect it would have been sing-alongs like Oasis or something that everybody knows. And
yeah.
Although
John would have pulled off "Single Lady" really well.
I could imagine. Yeah, there's like a striking resemblance, like with you and Beyonce, man. Girl power.
That's right, man.
Fantastic, man. So what sort of influences are sort of like bringing you? Have you brought to the table as a band? Because you mentioned it yourself, like it was important to have sort of like the same taste in music.
Yeah, well, like I think everyone's got different tastes. Everybody's listened to lots and lots of different music, and each of us sort of listen to heaps of bands that the other ones have never heard of, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, I suppose probably important to mention. Obviously, I'm English. Andy, being the drummer, is from the States. The bassist is from Poland. and the guitarist is from Chile.
Wicked.
So can we actually consider ourselves an Aussie rock band?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think that would probably be labeled as like an international band. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds way cooler, doesn't it? You sound more important if you say, we're an international band.
Yeah, we're an international act.
But hopefully the Aussies accept us as an Aussie band. So.
Well, it's the same as like you have like what's it, all the top Australian actors. They're all like from somewhere else.
Yeah,
like
right, yeah. But so we've all got sort of different backgrounds and different tastes. I think the bassist you probably call him a metalhead more
for
than
sure.
anything, and you quite into a lot of funk and stuff, weren't you, growing up?
I'm kind of all over the place. I was in jazz band. I liked my metal when I was younger, and then my taste kind of grew. I remember listening to Led Zeppelin for the first time actually, and thinking I was probably like 14 or so, and I was like, oh, this isn't heavy enough for what I want to listen to, And then, years down the track, you're like, oh, this is actually brilliant music. And, your tastes change so much from early teenagers when you're first really influenced by music to, where you are now, for me especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I love Dave Matthews Band drummer. Seven Dust was a big influence for me.
Morgan Rose, he's amazing,
drummer.
Man. Yeah.
Neil Peart, but probably the one that I try and emulate the most is John Bonham.
Right. Well,
and that's how we vibed initially, is because of our love for Led Zeppelin.
Of the Zeppelin,
That was your audition,
it was my audition. You tell it.
Nice.
We gave him a couple of songs to learn, and then we were just chatting away, and I said to him, so the real question now, and he said, yeah. And I said, can you play Good Times, Bad Times, with the triplets and all? And he goes, yes, I can. But can you sing it?
Say no more.
Can I sing it? Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
Called your bluff.
So we pretty much just played it off the bat.
Yeah, we strung it together. I don't think the guitarist or the bassist knew what the hell was going on.
All that well. No, but that was it. And I said, Matt, you're in. I'll cancel the rest of the auditions. That's it. You're in.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good time. I think it was at what was that at Pencap
Chew, yeah, up in O'Connor there. Yeah.
Bring your own drum set, set it up, tear it down, take it home every time. But we've lucked out. We have a very cool rehearsal space in Bibber Lake now, and we don't own it, but the guy has a house drum kit, so all I have to do is bring like my snare.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Then ready to go for a rehearsal.
So you actually have your own place, even if you are sharing it, but you aren't like renting rehearsal spaces,
we go. Yeah, we rehearse like once a week. It's super cheap. We just, if we want to leave our stuff there, we can leave it there. It's cool. We've got our own keys. We let ourselves in and out whenever we like.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah. And you're down my neck of the woods as well, man. Yeah, good stuff, man. Are you all Southern based? I think I saw on your Facebook say you said like you're Frio based.
So we sort of call ourselves Frio based because it's kind of our sort of central location. So
yeah.
So.
But it's not the worst part of town either.
The bassist is a little bit further south than that, and the guitarist is a little bit further north. But
they're around about though. Yeah. Like he's just on South Street now, isn't he? So yeah. My growing up was weird in my house because when we were kids, we were sort of pulverized with like the Everly Brothers and Elvis Presley and Billy Ocean and the Nolan Sisters and all that kind of stuff. A little bit of Motown, so some cool stuff, and musical movies and all that sort of stuff. So when I sort of started went into my early teens, I just broke out. I was a raver, mate, so I was like in the rave scene in the UK in the early 90s, and that was my music, and then so that was pretty wild for a few years, and then when I was about 16, I think 16, 17, so I started raving very young.
Right.
I think I went to my first all-night rave when I was 13.
What?
Yeah.
If you say that to people here, they'd be like, coming in?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
European lifestyle.
Yeah.
I've been there too.
Yeah, exactly, mate. So me and the boys started pretty young. And then when I was about 16, 17, I discovered Led Zeppelin, and that was it for me. I was just like, wow.
It's funny. Like you hear those stories a lot. You have that monumental pivot point where you pick up a certain genre.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling you and I are probably about the same age, but yeah, like I grew up, you know, like I was a teenager in the 90s, and that was for me. Like I discovered Metallica, and then I discovered, you know, Stone Temple Pilots, and like all the grunge. I was like, yeah, fuck the rest.
It's grunge, eh?
Yeah, it's like that was like a decade of just me being sort of fully converted. Like, I'm now a rock ambassador. Like I am, you know, into.
We were incredibly lucky. I think
it was such a magical time, man.
Ridiculous. The 90s for music, and in Europe as well, it was insane, wasn't it? Like and then you had all these American grunge bands coming out, and just it was just ridiculous.
Oh, like the States were dominating everything that came out of like not just Seattle, but like the States in general, man.
It was. Oh mate, we were just smashed with amazing bands.
Some of the best albums of all time, in my book, came from the States.
I agree,
from that decade.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Alice in Chains third, Stone Temple Pilots the first two albums.
Soundgarden.
Pretty much everything that they've done, including the latest album. Even, you know, after they came back after a long hiatus, that's still a masterpiece. Rage Against the Machine, Pantera, man, it's like.
And it's like during that period as well where you're like really sort of, you know, growing and learning and sort of turning.
Yeah, you're absorbing it like.
And you're just sucking it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just blew me away in the 90s. It's fantastic.
And every time a new album came out, like again, you guys probably remember saying like you had to go down and you had to put on, like you have to go down and listen to it.
Yeah.
And you have to like buy it, and you took it home and open up the cover and stuff.
And it was just like meticulously going through the.
And it was like, and it was so proud. You could bring it to parties. Hey guys, I got the new album, man. It's like, and you have to remember to take it home again. Like,
that's right.
And then you just don't have that same sort of emotional attachment to it these days. It's a shame, man.
Yeah, it is. I think so. Yeah, I do miss sort of thumbing through artwork and things like that. You know, that was all sort of part of the experience for me. I'd have the new album playing just constantly, like on repeat.
And you'd be able to read the lyrics too.
Right,
you know, the lyrics were in there.
Everything,
like, What are they actually saying right there? I don't know. Let me look at this little pamphlet. That's
and even the bands, because it wasn't all the bands that actually included the lyrics, but even like I love just going through and just see. I like to thank my mom and Bob and Roger and Susan and. No idea who they are, but I like it. Like I would just go through it, you know, like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
And all the like the credits, where they recorded, who was engineering. Said I had no idea what a recording engineer or mastering was. I just love reading it because this is cool because it's my album.
Yeah.
You know, I bought it for my own money though. You know, it's
it's a strange thing nowadays, eh? But I'm still the same in terms of my habits. Like every time I get a new album, it'll just be on repeat until I've completely absorbed it, you know? I get a bit obsessive about new albums. I was talking about this on the way up.
Yes, he was.
So when I get a new album, it's just, that's it. It drives my wife insane. She's like, can we please fucking put something else on?
But it's I'm 100% the same. And I think it's just if you find something that are just like, either if it's something that's, you know, something new or something that really resonates with you.
Yeah.
You just want to get it under your skin. Like you just want to feel it, and like you always want it to be like a part of you.
That's right. Yeah. I like to know it just front to back. Intimately, like every little nuance. I like to absorb an album properly. You know.
So what are you listening to at the moment that are sort of really getting under your skin?
Well, I've also got a habit of going back to albums that I've listened to for a while and just pumping that non-stop. So so just recently I've been absolutely obsessed again with the Tea Party.
Right, yeah, I've actually Chris from Shotweiler who locked on earlier. Yeah, he introduced me to it. I think about 6 months ago.
Yeah. So the Splendor Solace, which is probably widely regarded as being their best album, and it is just a masterpiece. It's like an amazing album. So that has just been pretty much on loop for a couple of months, and my wife's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, not the Tea Party, something else," you know. So I go, "Okay," and then I'll put like Tool back on that I obsessed over for 6 months. You know, the most recent Tool album.
Oh, let's have a chat about that one.
Yeah, it was a funny one, that the most recent Tool album, because the first time I heard it, I was like, I'm not sure what I think of this, you know.
I might have to listen to it a bit more because I'm still like that.
The more I listened to it, the more I thought this actually might be their best album.
Right.
And I'm still sort of statement. on that. I'm still sort of on that sort of path. It's endlessly interesting to me. Eh?
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's like, to me, I think, what was it, like 13 years?
Yeah,
14 years. And again, like I said, mind you, I haven't probably given the album enough listens. You know, as like I listened to it probably 4 or 5 times. I really tried. I really got into it and stuff. But to me, I felt, and this is my own personal opinion, I felt that had this been any other band but Tool that had released that album, I don't think it would have gotten the praise.
Oh, really?
That's how I felt.
Yeah,
but because it is Tool, because it was 14 years, you know, wow, and it's Tool, then, you know, oh, like this is like gold, like diamonds, like this is like scarcity. It's Tool, we have to have it. But I felt after listening to it a couple of times that, oh yeah, it's good. Like you can't point a finger at them. Like they are,
they are
absolutely incredible musicians. But I think like had that been most other bands, then you know the almighty Tool. I don't know if it would have been that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a strange one for me because obviously the anticipation of holy shit.
Exactly.
Tool's got a new album coming out. So when I heard it, and I was a bit like, oh, I might a bit disappointed with this, but then it just grew and grew and grew.
Right.
Me, yeah. And now, like I probably overall enjoy it more than their other stuff. Wow. Yeah, it's and it might just be recency bias. I don't know, but there's I think the longest track on the album is called Tempest. I don't know if you remember Tempest like specifically, but that is just such a fucking badass song. It's insanely good. It's insanely good.
All right, I'll promise. I'll give it another spin.
Just go for Tempest. Listen to Tempest a couple of times.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes my willy go funny.
And I think that's time to move on from here. Oh man, I still got this crazy COVID cough, man. It's so annoying. I think that actually started on Wednesday when I had Midnight Furnace. Then I remember I thought I had this weird cough, man. But the thing is, you can't say that to people these days because you got COVID.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't.
It's okay, don't panic.
Are we 6 meters apart right now?
Yeah. I think this might be decent, safe enough for social distancing, and otherwise it's great. You know, people can tune in. It's absolutely COVID safe. There's no.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I don't think you're gonna spread it to people down a microphone, are you? So.
No, that's it.
Unless we share the microphone.
Yeah. Well, what about sort of more recent albums? Is there anything that you guys have picked up on? Anything you can do a shout out to, saying this is the best album out of the last year or two or something like that?
I mean, I listen to so many different sort of styles and stuff, and it certainly wouldn't fit with our own music. But I mean, I don't know if you know of a guy called Ben Howard. So he's a bit of a folk musician in the UK. So it's more kind of folk-based music. So he just released a new album. I'm a bit obsessed with that at the moment. So yeah, it's
nice,
incredible songwriter, incredible. Do you know an American band called The National?
Nope.
Oh, anyway, so he's been working with the guitarist and producer from The National, and so every album Ben releases has got a really different flavor, you know.
Cool.
So his latest albums, again, it's just like, oh wow, it's just completely different to the previous one. So yeah, I just find Ben Howard endlessly interesting. So
yeah, fantastic.
It's got absolutely nothing like the sort of music we play.
No, very far from it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to. Yeah, it's totally doesn't have to.
Musicianship.
He's incredible.
Yep.
I mean,
insane.
As a pure guitarist, he's got to be one of the best guitarists I've ever seen. It's ridiculous, but he writes really, really interesting stuff. So
that's wicked, man.
That's what I'm into right this minute.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm really bad about listening to new music, actually. Kind of have my Spotify playlist of like 180 songs of,
recycle them.
Ultimate nostalgia playlist and the ones that motivate me to, clean or lift weights or whatever. And I just kind of keep that on repeat.
Yeah.
I am very thankful that Perth has finally gotten a rock station for the radio station. And I've actually heard a couple of the new Foo Fighters songs, which I quite enjoy.
Yep.
But I haven't even listened to that album front to back. And like we were talking about the new Tool album, I listened to it maybe a couple of times at work, and haven't even given that a proper go. So
shame.
I'm
shameful.
I'm slacking.
Well, it sounds like both you and I have some catching up to do on that album. I mean, because it is like again like you can't argue that Tool is an absolute like in a league of their own.
A juggernaut.
Yeah, they are. But it's, I suppose, like same as a lot of other bands. Like you have your good albums and you have your great albums.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I'm guilty, and I probably need to give it a couple of more
I mean,
spins. Yeah.
the thing is like there's lots of bands now that are doing the whole kind of weird sort of time signature stuff as well. So it's not like it's only Tool that are producing this sort of music now. So I wonder if it just doesn't feel as fresh now because other bands are sort of doing similar things. I don't know,
But they still have a very distinct sound.
you know it's
For
Tool.
sure.
Like, you know, like
Yeah,
this,
you know
like the
it's Tool.
slap delay on the bass, and like that sort of like almost ambient space,
Yeah.
like when you have like those big roomy reverbs and all that stuff.
I think
But
you can pretty much tell it's Danny Carey too, can't you? You know,
Yeah.
as soon as he starts playing, you're like, that's Danny Carey.
yeah, and also like he's got like his drum kit, like he's got all these crazy little electric drums and like
And then
weird little
mandalas and-
like
Crazy.
so many random percussion bits and pieces and stuff. And again, yeah, like the guy's an octopus. Like
Yeah.
he's
Insane.
He's nuts, and let's not forget, obviously, James Menakeenan as well. Like his vocals are very distinct as well.
Oh, yeah. And the lyrical style as well, you know. So I mean, I find his lyrics absolutely fascinating. And the lyrics. In fact, I really enjoy reading all the lyrics from that latest album. I think they're brilliant.
Well,
Absolutely brilliant.
that might be something that would get me to listen to it
Yeah,
again. Actually,
yeah.
go through it with the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of what happened for me. Really. So I was wondering, like, what is Numa about? So I started reading the lyrics to Numa while I was listening to it. So I thought, fucking hell, he's such a good lyricist. You know? Puts you to shame, eh?
Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny about him actually. I the first time I was exposed to him, I actually was exposed to A Perfect Circle before Tool.
So
Oh wow.
So I went to a concert in Denmark. What did that be, like late '90s or something like that? I think it was one of the first tours they did. That was after they released the first album, the one with the Brenya and Judith and all this stuff on it. Can't remember what it's called now. Like they played in a tent, probably half full. You know what I mean? Like it's probably a couple of thousand people there. But again, absolutely mind-blowing concert, man.
Yeah.
And also the fact that they, as a drummer, they had Josh Freese, you know, playing in the band. Like actually, one of the biggest, one of the greatest rock studio drummers, or session musicians. And I think that was the first band he actually was a part of, A Perfect Circle.
Wow.
Because he was I don't know if you guys were ever into Suicidal Tendencies, but The Art of Rebellion, which is my favorite Suicidal Tendencies album, he just freezes playing the drums on that album.
Oh wow.
And I was like, man, this guy's insane. And then I saw that he was a drummer in A Perfect, like the official drummer of A Perfect Circle. I was like, nuts, man.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to Tool after that.
Yeah.
But like A Perfect Circle, especially that first album again, to me again was mind blowing, man.
I quite like Pussifer.
Back in the
as well.
'90s again.
You listen to Pussifer much?
I haven't actually. No, I've listened to some podcasts where Maynard James Keenan has been on Joe Rogan, when he's talking about it quite a bit, and they've sort of tried to plug the new album and stuff. But I've actually never listened to it.
Yeah, they've done some really cool stuff too.
But I think he started that because he just didn't want to wait for the new Tool album.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's crazy. Like I remember watching this documentary about him, and like this dude sleeps like 3 hours a night or something ridiculous. You know, he's like he personally manages a couple of wineries.
Yep.
He trains martial arts like. 4
He's got
hours a
his
day.
own
He's in
jiu-jitsu
3
studio
brands, and you're like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, dude. When do you sleep? You know.
but sometimes you just come across these people that are just creators.
Yeah.
They just want to create. They just want to, put stuff out in the universe, man. Like, hats off, because that again requires a special sort of dedication, man.
The energy levels required. I know I haven't got that. You know? There's absolutely no way, man. No.
But I think it's something. I think it's something you can train yourself to, like to be more productive or be like achieve more.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, absolutely. Like what that guy's doing is puts most people to shame. And again, and the fact that he's so hands on.
Yeah.
Like, he goes out and like he researches his own wines and like goes out and find out, how to do the right blends and stuff. It's crazy, it's badass. Yeah.
He is a crazy dude. You can see it. He just comes across as a bit crazy to me.
Probably very eccentric, I'd say. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But also like every time they go on tour, like he tries and finds a jiu-jitsu place where you can actually go and train while they're touring and stuff. It's just crazy. Could you imagine just down in your local jiu-jitsu studio, all of a sudden like the singer of Tool comes in and say, all right, anyone keen to roll or something? Like, you go like, what?
Can I roll? I don't know if I can roll with this guy. You rip your arms and legs off. Like, he's really high level too.
Yeah, well, like, and he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
That's again the whole thing, as long as you keep going, as long as you keep keep grinding.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, you can pretty much only get better. Like you can only go one way.
Yeah, that's right.
As long as you don't stop.
We were lucky, weren't we? Because that Tool gig was just before the whole COVID thing.
That's right.
that was
Yeah,
like
that's right. Yeah, they came here. They came here just before.
Yeah, so we were lucky. It was February 10th, actually.
And Neil Peart had just died like
that's
that
right,
week.
That week. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So we saw that amazing show and
that was a crazy
walked
gig,
out of it, and John and I kind of looked at each other and we were like, we just saw the best drummer on the planet since Neil Peart passed this week. Like Danny Carey's, you know, taking the spot now.
Probably him, yeah.
And like, we just saw the best drummer in the
I
world.
remember
Holy
getting
shit.
like halfway through that gig and we leaned forward and looked at each other and went, let's just quit. It's fucking no way. Like, these guys are just completely different level.
They are, yeah. But
four of them, you know, the noise they produce is just, and what I found so amazing as well is the way they accurately and like authentically reproduce the albums,
the recorded stuff,
live. It's fucking insane.
Well, I have 13 years to practice it. So. I mean, you can't expect them to be pretty on point, yeah.
I mean, they're so complex. It's like, you know, you see, I saw there was an interview with Danny Carey, and he said even now, like, because some of the songs that they're so difficult to get right that, you know, even after playing them hundreds of times, when we're at a gig, he said you still get that trepidation, like, oh, I hope we don't fuck this up.
Oh wow.
And you see, there's a wicked video where they set up drum cams of just Danny Carey playing Numa. I showed you.
Yeah.
And you can see once they've kind of got to the critical point where they know they've nailed it, he sort of looks at Maynard and he's like, "Fuck yeah!" You know, like we got through. Yeah. But yeah, very good gig, man. Very good.
I think I heard a story. I think Maynard was talking about how he think that he actually got COVID during that Australasia, New Zealand leg of the tour. Yeah, because I think he was quarantined. I might be wrong here. So, but I heard him talk about it that he definitely thought that he had COVID or tested positive or whatever it was, and had to like isolate somewhere at a hotel during the tour or something like that. So yeah, I might be wrong, but I think it was in Auckland when they went down there. So it would have been around the same time.
Yeah, because I think Perth was the first stop, wasn't it? And then they went
so.
to like Melbourne.
It's usually either the first or the last when they go down, because you know it's.
Yeah, it was ace. Yeah, that's probably enough about Tool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Burned off about 30 minutes on Tool.
That's it.
I forget what we were talking about before.
Fanboys.
Absolute fan.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I suppose again, so but we could always go back because that's I always love talking about all the bands, you know, back in the 90s. So I can throw my stories out of the first. Like the band that sort of got me into playing was, you know, the almighty Lars himself. We got him at the back, fellow Dane. So yeah, after picking up the Black album, you know, I think it was about the same time I got my first drum kit and started bashing out, you know, Enter Sandman. It's not the hardest song to play in the world, but you know, as soon as you got that tom roll right, it felt good, man.
It did.
So what sort of bands were you like? Obviously, you as a fellow drummer, what got you sort of hooked onto
actually
to playing?
It was my 6th birthday party. And I got Soundgarden Super Unknown on a cassette tape.
Wow.
As a birthday present. And I went home and played that. And that was my first ever rock album of any sort. And it was one of my friends who was a couple years older than me who got it for me. And I remember that was kind of like my turning point of then going rocker, you know?
Yeah.
It was the Soundgarden, Nirvana, and Metallica. So then my dad, thankfully, was like very helpful in my musical growth. Took me to concerts. My first concert ever was Collective Soul opening for Aerosmith. I think that was like 1992, maybe.
Wow,
and
that's pretty epic.
We had pretty close seats. You know, I was 11 or 12 at the time, and my best friend and I ran to the front of the stage, and Joe Perry was dropping guitar picks. And some random guy just lifted me up in the audience, and I grabbed the guitar pick from Joe Perry's hands. And so my first ever concert, got a guitar pick. And then my second ever one was Metallica. And I ended up getting Lars's drumstick.
Yes. That's so cool,
I
man.
wasn't even a drummer at that point in time, but I was just starting guitar.
Yeah, you started as a guitarist.
Nice,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Started
That's
as a guitarist.
that's a great story, great memories,
and,
man.
yeah, it was amazing. They're still back in Ohio.
Who is?
The guitar pick and the
Oh,
drumstick.
yeah,
They're-
fantastic,
they're
man.
Back in Ohio, safe.
Wicked, man.
Yeah, and that was kind of what turned me. I went, maybe I should start trying to play the drums. I got the drumstick. Is it a sign?
Is it a sign, man? Yeah.
Ditched the guitar and picked up the sticks.
I was about to say, like, if you start out on super unknown, like that's again setting the bar pretty high. Like met Cameron as a drummer as well, but especially that album, man, is it's like such an epitome
I
of
loved him in Soundgarden, and apparently he went on to become the drummer of Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Yeah.
Which I did not realize until like a couple years ago. I felt like my mind was blown when I found that out.
Well, wasn't he back on the latest Soundgarden album?
Yeah, I think so.
Or pretty sure it was the original guy. But we obviously have to go back.
Who did he replace in Pearl Jam? Their original drummer.
Yeah.
What was his name?
He joined. Yeah, he joined on the third album, I think it was, or
third
something.
album,
Second or third album.
The Pearl Jam's first drum. I loved their first drum. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah,
Italian.
He had like crazy Abruzzati, blah blah blah. Like
that's
look,
it, yeah.
crazy long name, man.
Great drummer.
Oh, fantastic
Yeah,
drummer as well.
great drummer.
Fantastic drummer.
Yeah. Yeah, so for, like I suppose as a kid when I got into rock music, the main band that sort of caught my attention from the States was Pearl Jam.
Mm.
They were the ones that sort of got their hooks into me first, and then through them I picked up Alice in Chains, who I just thought, oh man, these guys are a different level, you know.
But they're still to this day. Like if you put on Dirt,
Yeah, it's
like
insane.
like honestly, I think if you scroll down to the very very bottom of my Instagram feed, you know, because I started that around the same time as COVID started last year, so that was when everybody was doing that album challenge.
Yeah, that's
Like
right,
your 10 favorite albums, like they're all on there.
Yeah.
Like they're all on there. So like the like Dirt, Purple, Stone Temple Pilots,
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Far Beyond Driven, Pantera, like it's all Black Album, Metallica.
Yeah,
It's all 90s stuff.
yeah. And of course, being in England as well, like Oasis were just huge in the.
We're gonna stop now.
Yeah. And I still, even today, I still say their first two albums were good. You know, the rest of it has been absolute shit. But the first two albums, I stand by. And I suppose at the time as well, you know, like I was sort of 17, 18 when they came out. It was just part of this this incredible atmosphere around England at the time. It was amazing, you know. There was just amazing music coming out. Britpop was just like movement, and it was just the whole country was buzzing around then, you know. It was
they just hit something.
Yeah,
they did,
did.
like they were like the
They just
pioneers of that
stepped into
genre.
the
Like you had
national
like
conscience.
you had like Blur and
Yeah.
Pulp and like
I never
what
liked Blur. Blur I always thought was shit.
yeah, they just had that sort of, you know, the stand like song too. They had that sort of like
Yeah,
a
one or
little bit of
two,
a
and it's
poke
just
out
like-
song. That was
yeah.
like, because I must admit I do like song two, but I don't like any of the other Blur stuff.
That's right.
But and look, I don't mind Oasis, but like the thing is, I freaking hate Wonderwall, like
Yeah.
with a passion, like, and being in a cover band, because that's, you know, I remember like before we started, you asked me if I was in a band. Yes, so for the last 7 or 8 years, that's pretty much all I've been doing. You know, I've just been playing in a cover band, and when people come and ask you, can you play any Oasis? I'm like.
Please don't say
oh,
Wonderwall.
my heart dies a little bit. Like I just cringe. It's like
yes, we can play Champagne Supernova.
it's a bus. Yes, we can. So it's like, and I'm selling my soul here, man. Like,
No, I don't really listen to it anymore,
No.
you know. But it will always. I suppose it'll always be kind of special to me, but more for the time that it came out than the music itself, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
I still think the first two albums have got some really good songs on there. Everything,
But they do though, like they do. Again, you can't argue the fact that they are great songs. Like whether you're into that music or not, and that's again, like I said, I've really disliked Beyonce, but you can't argue the fact that she's really good at what she does.
She's popular.
She is, yeah. But again, like
I can't figure out why.
but that whole genre, like the whole R&B in general, like I said, it's like to me again, it's like I don't get it.
Yeah.
So again, it's not for me,
Yes.
but I can hear good. I can still distinguish what's good and bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oasis, like I said, it's not my jam, but I have heard like Champagne Supernova. Yes, it's a fantastic rock song.
Yeah.
It is. And a lot of like whether you like, you know, Don't Look Back in Anger and some of the other big hits as well, like they are good songs.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
You might not like them, but they are still good songs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So again, I have to give him that though.
Yeah.
But
I was a massive. Did you get into the Stone Roses at all?
not into them, but yeah, I had a period where I listened to. I can't remember what the album is called now. Because again, it was
the first album came out and it was just massive, but that came out in '89 if I remember rightly, and I was only like 11 or something at the time, so it didn't really sort of get into me at that point. I grew to love that album.
Yeah.
But I was always more taken with their second album, which got like widely kind of panned for some reason. But I just think that second album, it's called The Second Coming. It's just full of amazing music. It's fucking superb. But people slag it off, you know. I think they're a bit sort of. I think they're sort of diehard Stone Roses fans were so perturbed by the fact that it was so different to the first album that they just couldn't swallow it, you know. Whereas I listened to it and I just get massively influenced by Led Zeppelin. You know, you can hear it in the way they've constructed the songs and stuff. And John Squire, he's so all the sort of media stories go, he's a complete fuckhead of a bloke. Insanely good guitarist, but people just can't work with him because he's an asshole, you know. Allegedly, if he's not going to see this.
And even if he is, you're an asshole. So.
Pull your fucking head in. But yeah, like the second album, even to this day, I listen to it quite regularly. It's fucking ace. Really, really good.
But that's also one of the craziest things about music is like usually like those songs that for whatever reason mean something to you, usually are attached to something really special, like either a really special time of your life or like a pivotal moment. And
well, that's the power of music.
It is, man. Yeah,
you back to a time in your life, doesn't it? And you associate with the memories of that time. And and I suppose, you know, growing up, like you said, in the 90s when we're sort of coming of age.
It's like
just ace time.
I hold my beer, man. We could probably talk about this for like days. You know what I mean? Like the amount of memories you'd have. Like
for sure.
But
for me, it was always Led Zeppelin. Always, it was like I knew the first time I really got into Zeppelin, I thought I'll never hear anyone that I like more than these guys, and to this day I haven't. So
that's crazy, man.
Yeah. 16. My girlfriend's little brother, my girlfriend at the time, her little brother was learning guitar, and he was like, "Oh, do you know these guys?" I said, "Oh, I've heard of them. Everyone's heard of Led Zeppelin," and I knew that "Whole Lot of Love" was like the theme tune to Top of the Pops for years, you know. But I never listened to them, and then when I really they did the remasters. It was like a double CD release. And I listened to that front to back, and I thought, holy fuck, how have I not listened to this before? And it just blew me away. Dazed and Confused was the one that really got me, you know. I was just like, fucking hell, this song's unbelievable. And that was it. And I knew straight away, like, I'll never hear a band I like more than these guys.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, 25 years down the line.
Yeah, I was about to say, especially because like as time progresses, like more and more music gets released every year.
Yeah.
So many,
Nothing touches Zeppelin for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I still, Achilles' Last Stand is my all-time favorite song. And it's also the best song ever written to hit a punch bag to. You know? You just get fucking wild.
Nice, man.
Yeah. Good training song, hey?
Yeah.
But that's like I was about to say, like especially when you go to the gym, like, and music is all like, could you imagine going to the gym in just complete silence?
Yeah, it'd be creepy.
Like, there'd be absolutely no PBs done in silence. Hey, it's just like, because again, it's so empowering, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I've got a specific gym playlist as well. Like depending on what sort of workout I'm doing. Like if I'm doing something, like if I want to lift really heavy, you know, you gotta have super aggressive songs, man. I listen to like Meshuggah and shit, man. Like Pantera and stuff, but. But yeah, in general, Mikey, like, could you imagine just going, like, again, you never go and you never go to the gym and listen to Beyonce, hey, like,
I would never listen to Beyonce.
Period.
Ever. For any reason. Yeah. In fact, if she comes on the radio, I'll turn it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, yeah.
Can't do pop music, mate. Radio drives me insane.
But that's again, like, that is one thing that has stuck with me for decades. It's like, why is the radio so polluted with all these, like, the same songs, man, the same genre? It's like,
it's all marketed at like 14-year-old girls, isn't it? So it's like,
but they aren't listening to the radio.
Yeah, I know, it's bizarre. My wife listens to it.
like 14 years, I mean, my oldest son is almost 8, but like 14, what I would imagine 14-year-old girls and boys would do these days, you know, they would be on their phones listening to like YouTube of like do something online, because that's the generation with like that's how they're going to be brought up, right?
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be listening. Like the radio would almost be like an obsolete technology.
I never
Like
would have thought that. That's actually really true. Yeah. And yet most of the shit you hear on the radio is absolute nonsense, isn't it?
But like I think like me and my wife, when we wake up, like we put the radio on, but that's usually just to have something in the background, and that's usually a rock station anyway.
Yeah.
But if you do listen to these like commercial stations, like I said, me, I'm the same. Like I either turn it off, or change the channel, or put on my playlist where I can choose to, you know, what I want to listen to. But yeah, I just don't understand how the commercial radio has survived for that long, especially when you see so many people love rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like why don't you have more rock stations, or why don't commercial stations play more rock? Like again, I'm sure there's a reason for it. You know what I mean?
There must be. I can't fathom it. Though.
Because you see, like all major labels have rock bands as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what would be cool now, what's it called? Triple M.
Triple M.
Triple M. So when they started up, I think they rapidly went downhill though. I mean, when Triple M started, November, December, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I was working on
hasn't been
Rottnest
very
at
long.
the time, and I was just like, finally, like a station that plays actual good music. You know, it was like all day they play banger after banger, just great songs all day long. And that's sort of slowly, sadly, is sort of.
And now every time you turn it on, it's like The Killers.
Yeah, God, mate, that
Song.
How is that?
It's not.
It's rock music.
That's again another cringeworthy song that we play with the cover band, like Mr. Brightside. It's like, kill me now, man. Like,
do you play that?
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not. I was supposed to say, I'm not proud of it, but it's one of those things. Like in cover bands, in so many ways, to me, it's like musical prostitution, man. It's like you literally sell your soul for money because other people are paying you to play. Dance, monkey, dance.
We started doing covers. So with the first year we did covers.
Year and a half to 2 even.
But I'm sure you didn't play Mr. Brightside and Wonderwall. You know what I mean?
We actually, despite his love for Oasis, we did not play a single Oasis song either.
Good man.
So
we did have like 3 Bush songs.
It caused a few rows, but I was sort of insistent. I said I don't want to do the kind of run of the mill shit that every cover band plays. So I get that it might be trickier to sort of sell us to venues and stuff, but I'd rather sort of be true to the stuff we like and pitch our stuff to audiences that will appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, did you actually start out as a cover band? Like, right. Okay.
Yeah. So a good friend of ours, Amanda. If you're watching, Amanda, I love you, mate. She was like the first person I contacted to say, like, do you want to start a band? And she was like, fuck yeah, because she hadn't had the opportunity to play music for a while. So she dusted off her guitars and we got stuck into it. And as I said, we went through the process, put the band together, and we started coming up with a list of songs. And it was like, and it caused a few rows over the time, not because I really don't want to do bullshit that I don't like. I can't, and I think being the singer is sort of hard for me to do something or like do it any justice if I don't like it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
So singing songs I don't like, I find very difficult, and then I was like, I can't do it because I fucking hate it, So we had quite an interesting set list, didn't we? We were doing lots of unusual things that people just didn't do.
Things.
Like what? Tell me.
So I kept insisting on, I love Bush, like I always loved the band Bush. So we had
they're good.
3 or 4 songs in our 4 sets. We did some Foo Fighters, we did some Led Zeppelin, we did some Doors, we did.
But that sounds like a gig I would go to.
Yeah,
easy.
We used to do like
Pearl
the
Jam.
Animals, Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins. So all stuff that we all collectively liked.
Yes,
we threw a couple in there that would have sort of pleased the crowds, and they sort of grated on me a little bit. But I agreed to it because they were decent.
But
songs.
everything you just mentioned there should please the crowd, like the crowd, man. Like that's all amazing rock songs.
Like some
Powder Finger, which I loved playing.
Yeah.
But what was the other one?
They're a great band, though.
We did Black Crows.
We did Black Crows. We did Black Keys.
The Black Keys, a fair bit of the Black Keys. And some stuff that just nobody knew except me, which everybody loves. So there's a band in the UK called Elbow. I don't know if you've ever heard of Elbow.
I've heard of them, but I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah. So in 2008 they released this wicked album. It was an amazing album. And the standout track for me on that was a song called Grounds for Divorce, which is just a killer song.
It is really good.
Absolutely killer song. And in fact, I think it won Song of the Year that year in the UK.
Right.
So I talked the guys into playing that, and even though we played that probably 30 times to audiences who'd never heard it before, but everybody loved it, and I loved that, To like,
we also kind of made it our own.
we did. We sort of put our own.
We didn't emulate it from the
it,
album.
but to play something that nobody knew and yet really sort of got into it and really dug the song. That was awesome. Even as a cover band, I was like, so I enjoyed that. Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. Like I don't know why it just came back to me. But after you mentioned Bush, like because I remember I can't remember the album, but the song "The Chemical Between Us."
Yeah,
I think it's called. Like, man, that was a good song.
Yeah,
I just like as you were talking about Bush, like that song just had the chorus stuck in my mind instantly. It took me back again, like to Denmark and my old room. We were talking about music because I remember I bought the album and had that whole experience of being going through the cover and stuff, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were a great band.
Yeah, and they're still going as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
still
wow.
Going, yeah. So I think they released. I know they released an album about 4 or 5 years back, and I think they released another one probably last year, sometime or the year before. But yeah, I'm guilty. I haven't checked it out yet. But I mean, they went through some sort of strange times and some weird, interesting musical choices, which I think lost a few of their fans along the way. But
right.
But undoubtedly a bloody good band. Yeah. Like, I mean, the first two albums were
bangers.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Bangers.
But
16 Stone is 20 million copies it sold or something. Yeah. It's
Wow.
a huge album. Yeah. And then the follow up, I think, was called Razor Blade Suitcase, and that again, people were sort of like, holy shit, because it was really, really dark, like nothing like the first album.
Right.
And so people found it quite hard to digest because it was really quite dark and moody, but I loved it. In fact, I got into that album before I really kind of latched onto 16 Stone. But, yeah. So they were another favourite of mine.
But it's funny though. It's like sometimes when you do see these bands that go through like an experimental phase. Because I suppose again, if you're on a record label, like probably most labels would sort of try and say, like, no, you got to play it safe, you got to satisfy the crowd. But
rinse and repeat.
Where do you draw the line? Because you can also, there's only so much you can do to sort of like, as you said, like rinse and repeat, or like just reinvent the old, like copy the old albums and stuff.
Yeah.
But where should you draw the line? From a musical perspective. Because at the end of the day, like you want to a certain degree stay true to yourself, and again, as we spoke about earlier as well, like your musical taste and influences can change over time.
Yeah, they do, don't they? They inevitably do. Like I think,
except for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
but yeah, as you progress, as you get older and wiser, you know what I mean. Like you get influenced by other stuff in life, and sometimes that's something you want to write about. Like sometimes massive events happen to you, like whether it's like death or marriage or kids and stuff like, and that's all major events that can influence you or will influence you as a person.
Oh, for sure.
And sometimes you want to write different stories, whether they're sad or dark, as you mentioned, or whether they're like really happy and bright because you have this newfound love for your kids. So whatever it is.
I think. Look, I mean, obviously we've not ever released an album. The first one's going to come out this year, but I think I've always had the same sort of mindset, and we've always spoken about. I think the most important thing for me is that you love your own music. Right?
100%.
So what you're actually producing and the finished product is sort of, it feels right to you. And so I think, and like you said, as your life, changes and your experiences change and mold the way you see the world, that's inevitably going to change. And I think as long as you're happy with what's coming out and it feels right to you, then it's right, isn't it? I don't know.
Well, because that's my whole point. Like I said, if it's right to you, then again, like you're delivering a product to your audience, whether they like it or not, but you're delivering a genuine product. Like this is my soul. This is my art. Whereas again, if you go back to the whole way, it's almost like manufactured to suit the audience, you know, like, and you see that all the time on major labels because they are in it for the money.
That's right. Mate.
They don't give a fuck about you and your creativity in many cases anyway. So like, and I think that's also why you see so many bands that go through some really dark times, because you are sort of drawn, you're locked into this this manufactured, you know, artificial universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But again, I do understand that sometimes you can lose, you know, some fans in the process.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
I just think most people, like people by and large, like if it's authentic, if it's actually, you know, if it's representative of you and it's authentic, people will latch onto it. I think
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I think people will, especially if people understand like the reason behind it, they understand the story behind it. That gives it way more authenticity than if you are releasing a killer album, but people have really no idea what it's about.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the background story can really give you that extra connection or that extra dimension to the music.
Yeah, I think you see so many bands that start off, and there are certainly bands that I absolutely love that over the years you can tell they're not doing music that they particularly love anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
it's like it's and I described this to my wife the other day. It's almost like painting by numbers. It's like stick to the formula, boys.
Yeah.
And I suppose the most recent perfect example is Kings of Leon. So
just push them towards the poppiness.
Their first album, to me, one of my favorite albums.
Absolutely, because it was dirty.
It was them.
It was gritty. You know what I mean? And then it became completely overproduced and
and now it's just like every song has to have a fucking lighters in the air and shit, and it just doesn't feel real anymore. It doesn't feel like them. I mean, they're amazing musicians, and so they're sort of it's almost impossible for them to make shit music, but at the same time, I don't listen to their new stuff because it just doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't sound like them anymore, you know. It's just so polished.
But that's again
and bullshit.
That's again a perfect example of probably, you know, the whole major label sort of tendency. I don't know the background story, so who am I to say? But it sounds like something that could be along the same lines, you know, where you have a recipe that works, just keep making the same bread, like keep baking the same cake. You know what I mean?
Because you know, if it's radio friendly and people can get their lighters, it's going to sell. So.
But at the end of the day, look, if it is genuinely their product, and this is what we're super happy about, we're super excited about this album, good on you.
Yeah, and if
well done.
I'm
absolutely.
Happy for them,
yep,
genuinely.
100%.
But it's just, you know, it doesn't resonate with me anymore, you know.
And that's fine.
Personal choice.
That's fine. Like obviously, like there's and that's again the beauty about music. You know, there is something for everyone. Like there's a lot of people who love Beyonce. You know what I mean? And a lot of people that love Tool.
You mentioned Beyonce a lot.
I know, because I love breaking it up, because like I personally, as I said, do not connect with that genre whatsoever. No, but a lot of people do. Yeah. A lot of people do.
Popular,
a lot of people, probably more people would connect with that than they would with, you know, Kings of Leon or Tool or Metallica. You know what I mean? Sadly, absolutely. But again, who are we to say? You know, I mean, and that's but my point is just music is so beautiful in that way that again, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, you know, like age, religion, like who you vote for. It doesn't matter. Everybody, like music again, brings people together.
There's something for everyone now.
Exactly. And another really cool thing about it is you can listen to different genres. You don't have to be true and only go for that soccer team, only go for that politician or that party. You can literally listen to whatever you want.
That's right. I don't only listen to Led Zeppelin.
Exactly. Yeah, like you mentioned something like that, the folk musician and stuff. Yeah.
I do listen to lots of weird stuff actually.
He does.
Yeah.
But that's the same, like for instance, like if I'm doing work, like I'm spending a lot of time writing up a course, which I'm more than happy to tell you about that later as well. But every time I have to go in and actually do some writing and sit and concentrate or something like that, I need to listen to music that has no lyrics.
Oh, really?
Because otherwise I get distracted, because I want to hear what they have to say. So I listen to a lot of, believe it or not, I listen to a lot of like ambience, like a lot of like instrumental, like atmospheric music, because to me it's relaxing and it sort of puts me in like that state of conscience where I have to just, you know, stay focused on what I'm doing.
Yeah, cool.
So if I put on, you know, Led Zeppelin or AC/DC or like Metallica or something like that, I get like, I start to rock and like and start to sing along and nothing gets done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, again, it comes back to the same thing about going to the gym. Like you have certain songs, a certain genre that you would put on, for the gym, and that totally would not work there because it would put you to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've
Like,
all got driving music too, eh?
Yeah.
oh, tell me about it. What's your favorite driving song, man? The one you get the most speeding fines to.
Rage
That's a good
Against
one.
the Machine.
Yeah,
Oh.
Rage is a great driving album. I mean, it's not good for your license.
No,
but it's
not
a great
good.
driving album. Yeah.
I've picked up a couple of speeding tickets to Slipknot as well, man.
Yeah.
Like some of the
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. Yeah.
like Iowa, man, that's cost me a lot of money, man. Again, phenomenal drummer as well,
Yeah.
Joey Jordison on the old albums there, man.
Yeah.
Another American band that's just really set the bar high for what you can actually do with. I suppose you'd still call it new metal in some way, like especially like the first couple of albums.
Yeah.
I've always struggled to get into it. Never been able to.
Slipknot.
Yeah, never managed to latch on.
Right.
To it. I don't know why. Just doesn't.
I think you'd
doesn't
like
fit
Stone
in.
Sour if you gave them a go.
You reckon?
Yeah, you're probably right. They're a lot more rocky.
Yeah.
They're not as metal. Like he's done a lot more clean vocals
And
singing
the
those ones.
vocalist Corey Taylor is absolutely amazing. I
Yep.
was lucky enough to see them in concert in Ohio 5-6 years ago, I think now. And verbatim how it is on the record, man. You can pull it off. Like insane vocalist.
Oh, yeah, Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And especially like when did you see them with Stone Sour or
As Stone
Slipknot?
Sour, yeah.
Okay, because when he's playing with Slipknot, man, that's like I think I might have seen Slipknot probably 10, 12 times or something because they were playing all the European summer festivals all the time.
Yeah.
By the time I was living back home, so like sometimes like in summer you'd catch them like 2 or 3 times because they were always like headlining, going around with you, going to multiple festivals and so on. But anyway, my whole point is like when he's playing with Slipknot, he's like. You just do what you're told. Like when he's got the microphone, he tells you to sit down. You sit the fuck down. And when he tells you to jump, when he tells you to do a circle pit or whatever it is, like people, he's so in control, man.
Yeah.
An amazing front person. What do you call it? Like absolutely crazy. And that whole band on stage, man. They're 9 people.
Oh wow!
Like there's so much shit's happening, They got like those 2 people like bashing like kicks and like throwing shit around and like jumping off, like climbing up the light tower and jumping, like insane with these guys. Like such a dynamic stage presence, man. So yeah, if you haven't seen them live, man, I suppose they'll be a lot older now, but I'm sure they would still put on an absolute cracker show, man.
For sure.
So yeah, they're absolutely nuts, man. Have you had any other sort of like concert highlights, something that really sort of, again, when you have like really good memories, something that takes you back to see that concert was like phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky coming from the West Country in England, Glastonbury Festival.
Oh shit, yeah, that's one of the biggest.
45 minutes from my house. So
Wow.
where I grew up.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to go to Glastonbury lots of times.
Yep.
And so, yeah, actually, most of the major acts I've seen in my life, I've seen at Glastonbury.
Yep.
I've seen everybody at Glastonbury. Like everyone, it's amazing. Like it, and one that always sort of stuck in my mind, just because the show, they're not necessarily my favorite band, but just because the show they put on absolutely fucking blew me away was Muse.
Yeah, same.
Oh
actually, I was
man,
gonna say.
yeah,
dude, they
that's a 3-piece.
so
That's a
good
3-piece.
live.
Yes,
I was
insane.
astonished,
Yeah.
astonished. And I mean, I've always liked their music. I've always had their albums and stuff, and I've listened to them a lot over the years. But actually, funny story with Muse, I'll come back to. But Muse headlining Glastonbury was a real eye opener. My wife and I stood there like dumbstruck for the whole 2 hours, just like fucking hell.
Yeah, I've had the same experience
Really
watching them live.
powerful
Yep.
And I mean, what an underrated drummer as well. Talking about drummers, like that kid's sick.
But the thing is, and he's playing left-handed. But the thing about that band, which just baffles me, is the fact that they're only 3 guys, and they sound huge.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, but Matty Bellamy's a bit of a genius. So.
Oh,
I mean, they're all incredible.
He's like, I think a couple of times I've sort of compared him to almost like a modern day Freddie Mercury or something like that. Like he has so many talents and an incredible voice.
Yeah.
As a songwriter, as everything he's doing, man, is insane, man.
Genius.
Yep, absolutely, man.
Yeah. When I was, I think I was 17. There was a an old sort of disused warehouse not far from where I grew up, and they used to have like college bands and stuff play there, and we went down one night just to watch some music, and there was a band playing, a bunch of kids from school called Muse.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, and so they came on and played, and we were just like, fucking hell, these kids are insane. And
Wow.
And they were them.
that was them.
Wow. That's a cool story, man.
Yeah, so they're from Teignmouth, if I remember right, which is, you know, not too far from where I grew up, so just down in the southwest.
And how long ago was that?
So
How many years before they sort of made it?
I reckon that would have been around like 94, 95, something like that.
Oh,
So not long before.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
started. So they were like college band at the time, if I remember rightly. It could have been earlier, but I think if I remember rightly, they were a college band. So they were just these kids like, fucking insane. Yeah,
That's so cool, man.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
Great story, man.
Yeah, it was good.
They've done so well, man. And again, it's got such a distinct sound as
And
well.
every album again, like we're talking about earlier,
Yep.
the diversity in their work. You listen to every album. There's so many. There's such a different flavor from the previous.
But still, but still Muse.
Unmistakably Muse.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. Like as soon as the song comes on, like you can sort of hear it on the production. You can definitely hear it on his vocals. Like his vocals have that sort of
Very
signature.
distinctive voice.
Yeah. Fantastic, man.
Well, you're talking about driving songs. Knights of Sidonia, great driving song. Great training song too. You know.
Yeah.
It's a great life song.
Galloping horses.
Yeah, again, such a crazy arrangement as well of like how that song progresses is so unique, man.
Yeah, fantastic song.
But that again, like his ability to write songs and like songs that develop as the song progresses is wow, it's something else, man.
Great band. So
Absolutely, man.
in terms of gigs, that really stuck out. And another one, 1998, I got to see Jimmy Page and Robert Plant on part of their world tour when they teamed up briefly. They released an album together called Page and Plant Walking into Clarksdale, and they put together an incredible band. So Robert Plant's son-in-law was on bass, and they had a guy called Michael Lee. I don't know if you ever heard of Michael Lee, drummer.
No.
Insane drummer. Sadly, he died too. So.
Oh.
But that rhythm section was ridiculously good, and so they went on a world tour to support that album. And I got to catch them at Wembley in '98, and I think they played just short of 4 hours. Fucking unbelievable gig.
That's a workout, man.
Oh mate, unbelievable gig, eh? And of course they were doing a lot of Led Zeppelin stuff, but they
Yeah.
did the whole album, and they did. If I remember rightly, they played a couple of Robert Plant's like solo songs and a shit ton of Zeppelin stuff, and it just went off. Went off in there. They were astonishingly good. Yeah.
Far out, man. That would have been an epic,
Yeah, that stuck out. So those two and the Tool gig were probably the three that I always think of as probably the best gigs I've seen. Yeah.
Yep. Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, mate. I jumped in.
No, I was about to. Yeah, if you want to chime in as well.
I mean, I've already listed my amazing experiences from early in my days, but there was this 3-day long concert in my hometown called Rock on the Range, and it duels as a professional soccer stadium, and my step family has like a box there. So every year the rock festival would come to town and nobody else would want the tickets, so I'd always get like 12 tickets and some parking passes and take all my friends, and we'd go to this thing, and like the headliners were Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Stone Sour, Metallica, Stone Temple Pilots.
For free as well.
Yeah, for free as well. And we're just ultimate VIP experience, kicking it in the box, getting food and drinks brought in, catered, and I've just seen so many amazing rock acts at that thing. So many that I've even forgotten some of them, I think. Just year after year. It was, May, springtime in Ohio, and everybody'd start kind of messaging me like, what's going on with Rock on the Range this year? You getting the box? And I'm like, yeah, I got the box.
That again, like you just can't replicate that here. You just can't do that because like Europe has all, as you would know as well, have all those like 3 or 4 day festivals and stuff and I understand like the logistics and the infrastructure of the country is probably why it's not sort of feasible. But yeah, like those experiences where you go to those 3-day concerts, man, you have that much music to digest that it's literally, as you said, it's hard to remember it all because there's so much happening.
You remember the really good ones. You remember the really bad ones as well.
Yeah,
A couple funny, really bad ones. I was very excited to see The Darkness.
Oh yeah.
Super excited to see The Darkness, and they went on, and it was a total shit show. They looked like they were about to fall over and die. They're so smacked out of their minds. They're super skinny, you know?
right.
Justin Hawkins
Like-
got into a big mess.
And the only song that I knew was
Yeah,
the big
the
one.
thing called love, or
The thing
whatever.
called
I
love,
believe in
yeah,
a thing called
And then-
yeah.
So you wait for that one to happen, and then it happens, and then you're like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
really like any of that stuff that you did. And the other one that was horrible was Puddle of Mud.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Puddle of Mud.
Yeah, I've heard that so many
They-
times, man.
They half of their set they covered like AC/DC and Metallica. They
Really?
didn't even play their own music for a full entire set.
Wow.
What a
Yeah, and the dude just
how weird,
he
man.
cannot sing.
He can't sing.
He
no.
cannot sing.
No, he can't.
Yeah, because that's like so you've heard that so many times, man. Like when you see those live clips that
You
sort of
seen
go
the-
viral.
The
The
viral
Nirvana
one
one?
Yeah.
of him covering
Oh.
Nirvana in the
Yeah.
live
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
I honestly
Jesus.
thought that was a joke to start with.
Yeah,
But no,
so bad.
that was him having a red hot go.
And Blurry is such a good song,
It
man.
is, and
It's
their
like
drummer, I really liked their drummer. Regardless of how everybody views their music. Actually,
yeah.
secret guilty pleasure. I like Limp Bizkit.
No, I love Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit, another band that came to that Rock on the Range thing.
You've never mentioned that before.
Yeah, it's because I didn't want you to disown me.
Limp Bizkit and Korn, man, live.
Limp Bizkit, their drummer. Fucking
John
amazing.
Otto, yeah.
So we're in the box. Limp Bizkit was headlining one of the nights, and I was just so amped for it, and everybody else is just going, you're probably one of the only people left that are representing the fact that you still like Limp Bizkit. Like,
They're so good live though.
good on you, but
They're so
You're
good
alone.
live. Like you cannot not jump
Yeah.
to a Limp Bizkit concert or like a Korn concert. Like,
There you go.
but no, I'll happily put the hand on my heart, say I love Limp Bizkit. Like whether you like Fred Durst as a person, what he stands for is up to you. Like, he's obviously super controversial, but the music, man,
Yeah.
some crazy parties have been had to that.
Yeah, I bet.
to Chocolate Starfish, man. Far out, man.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
good times.
Yeah, mate.
I'm walking home, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that judgmental.
Well, I was about to say, if you're down that way, I can give you a lift, man. but if you guys are, so he's still in the band, so he's still okay.
Still bad. Until, yeah. Why are you looking for a spot? Because I can turf him if you like.
Oh, it's just got really awkward.
Meet our new drummer.
Yeah.
You can jump on guitar now.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Rhythm
That's
guitar
it.
situation.
Well, just before we round off, when can we expect to hear some of the new recordings that you guys have done? Like I know you mentioned hopefully by the end of the year,
You
a
can
little bit
come
later.
see us live in Fremantle on the 10th of July at the Beaconsfield Hotel.
Sorted.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Yep. So we've taken a bit of time out this year because there's been a heap of stuff going on. Guitarist was, prepping for his wedding. They got married, and then he had to take some time out because he was studying for his exams and stuff. Because he's an accountant, which is very odd. But
I
Ken, I love you, man.
always call accountants out. You know, I've got no disrespect to accountants, but it's like, to me, it's like, oh, it must be the most boring job in the world, like spreadsheets and numbers and.
Yeah, no, he's a great lad, Kenno. But he's obviously been working his ass off and with the wedding and stuff.
Of course,
we had to take
yeah.
some time out, and then after that we decided, well, let's get some of these songs recorded. So we obviously were up here with Jay at Oracle Sounds, and we cut another 5 tracks, didn't we? So.
Yep.
So now we're just sort of emerging from a bit of a hiatus and starting to book some gigs again. So we played a couple of weeks back in Frio. We got another gig in Frio on the 10th of July. And then it'll be a case of getting these final tracks recorded and then kind of planning out the release. But we've like I said, we've got 2 singles out that will feature on the album. They're available on all the normal platforms at the moment.
Fantastic, man.
So check them out if you like. You can check us out on Facebook, on Spotify. on Instagram, all the usual platforms, mate. You can find us. But yeah, so hopefully you see us around the traps a bit more now, so that, like I said, we can start booking some gigs and reliably get out and perform now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and obviously like, you got a big task ahead of you with the album and getting all that out. Yeah,
we just put a song together that we're very, very proud of. We played it for the first time a couple of weeks back.
Live.
So it's 7.5 minute.
Kind of consider it our Achilles' last stand.
Yeah, lots of different phases and changes and stops.
Fantastic,
and
man.
It's a really cool song, man. It's called Superficial. So if you want to hear that live, come along on the 10th and we'll play it for you. So that'll be
absolutely,
our
man.
set closer. We're really proud of that one. I think that's gonna shake a few people up. Man.
Yeah.
Well, when we wrap it up here, I'll have a look at my calendar. But if nothing is on, man, I'd love to come.
Sweet,
Yeah, absolutely,
Good
man.
to see you.
Absolutely,
Might
man.
even buy you a beer, mate.
Well, that's again another thing I've said this many times before. I've been sober for 2.5 years,
that's
man.
right. You
I've
did
been
tell me
almost. Well, come November, it's been 3 years, man.
you
So
did tell me
yeah.
that, right?
And the thing is, I love beer and I love red wine, but I just decided to take a break, and that break has lasted 3 years, man. So
That's awesome.
So I just need the right excuse to start again, man.
Well, maybe we could be that catalyst for you, mate.
Yeah.
Drag you back into the world of alcohol.
It's just one of those. It's just one of those things when when you like. When you've been sober for that long, it's like, I don't want to break the streak, man.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, and you find out you totally don't need it, man.
That's
but
right,
it's
you probably feel heaps better for it too. Right?
Oh, absolutely, and you save a shit ton of money as well, man. But it's just crazy. Like when it's one of those things that just happened by accident, man.
Yeah.
And it's just very quickly, like you realize. And I used to love drinking, and a social drinker, and you drink at home, share a bottle of red with my wife and stuff, but. Yeah, it's just one of the things that you just found out that you don't really need it. Yeah. So
And you wake up and you can still remember the gig you went to.
And you can always drive home, like always. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
good to know, mate.
So and especially when you are playing in bands, you sort of go out and there's free tapping, there's free alcohol and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, different story. But I'll totally still come. I might
love to see you there, man.
I might have a pint of water and just be really boring.
Water.
Yeah, exactly, man. Have some.
Difficult to spot you lofty over everybody in the crowd. So.
Can have some water with bubbles on the rocks. So yeah, perfect, man. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. For everybody tuned in, links to the guys are in the show notes, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget and subscribe to these boys too. Hey, it's as simple as that. Pluck.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, bro.
And I will see you on the 10th.
On the 10th.
Hopefully, yeah.
Sweet.
Excellent. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.